Gents, hang on one second. One second. All right. One sec. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make sure we are live. Good. Beautiful. All right, audio works. Good. Let's see if we're live on the X. Are we live on the X? Let's see if we're live on the X. There we go. We are live on the X. Let's make sure everything's all copacetic over here. Yes, sir. All right. Are we live on the Twitch? Let's make sure. Yes, we are live on the Twitch. Good. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me just fix something up here real quick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Hang on 1 sec. Get that out of here right there. Boom. Got this here. Boom. There we go. All right. All fixed there. Let's get all the announcements out. All right. There we go. All right. There. All right. There we go. There's another one right there. Okay. All right. There we go. Looking good. All right. Let's get this started right here. All right. What's up, guys? It's Double Nicks, and welcome to another episode of Microcap Mornings. I am your host with the most. They call me DBL Nicks in the house, aka the Rainmaker. And I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she gets shot at the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to go to RBs and go and watch some videos of puppies and kitties. Sometimes she actually likes to go and party while looking at their ABCDs, finding some wonderful stonks like SLRX, FMFC, and AMZE, as well as CMCT. We call her DBL Moms. Hey! All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday, ladies and gents. We're just chilling here right now. We are just chilling here, doing our thing, ready to make some money and ready to chill out, ready to have a good old time. And ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. And remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we called quite a few stonks today. We called quite a few baggers today. Called quite a few stonks that ran pretty well. Hold on 1 second. Let me just get everything all here. Bop, right there. We called, for example, SLRX, which ran up a nice 189%. 189% right there. Boom, right there. We called FMFC, FMFC, which ran up a nice 75%. 75% right there. Boom. All right. Called CMCT, which ran up a nice 110% right there. Called that as well. Boom. All right, got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. So let's take a look at some stonks real quick. Let's take a look at some stonks. Let's take a look at LHSW. LHSW. Let's see how LHSW is. Very choppy, not looking too schmexy as of now. So we're going to put LHSW. Very choppy. Needs volume to become somewhat schmexy to mya. All right, let's take a look at CMCT. CMCT. All right, CMCT right here. Currently shot up like this right here. Hold on, let's get rid of this. Bop. And let's get this going on right here. Boom. Right there. Bop. And bop right there. So currently, right now, forming a bit of a pennant right now. A little bit of a bull pennant, but it is below the VWAP right now. So CMCT needs to break above that pennant as well as that VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to mya. Let's get a share party going, by the way. Let's get to 200. But CMCT has some news as well. The Creative Media and Company Trust shares are trading higher after the company announced an agreement to sell its lending division to PGFR Holding. So we got that going on right there. Currently up 71% CMCT, but did have a nice high of 110%. So CMCT as of now needs to break the VWAP and the pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Otherwise, just Let's get some support and resistance lines over here. Support and resistance, bop, right over here. Boom. All right, let me get this over here like that. All right, let me get the text a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, so as of now, this current stock is above $8.70. Needs to break through the $9.30 mark, which is where the VWAP is. Needs to break through $9.65 and then $11.18 for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going. Let's get to 200. 200, ladies and gentlemen.
100.
Yes, sir. All right. So as of now, that's what we got going on, folks. That is what we got going on. All right. All right, let's take a look at another stock here. Let's take a look at AMZE. AMZE. Let's see how AMZE is doing. AMZE. All right. AMZE currently up 50%. 50% right there. All right. Currently had a little bit of, it was a little bit below the VWAP actually. Currently had a bit of an, actually, hold on. Let me get the path. There we go. A to B, B to C, C to D. Going on right here, but now it looks like it's forming a bit of a pennant right here. So it looks like it needs to curl past that pennant. Broke above the VWAP though. So AMZE did break above that VWAP, which is good. That's good news. That's good news. AMZE broke the VWAP. Needs to break the pennant for it to be so much schmexy to mya. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on. Let's take a look at ASST real quick. ASST, big fan favorite. All right. But ASST has been very, very choppy as of late. A lot of barcoding going on with this stock. So ASST needs a lot of volume so far. So let's see over here. You got barcoding and forming channels over here. You got another bit of barcoding that formed a channel right over here. Boom. Right here. Bop and bop. And then you had another set of barcoding that had a channel over here and here. All right. And then you had it again over here and here. All right. Then once again, right over here and here. So you got that going on right there. That is what you got going on so far. So as of now, ASST, a lot of barcoding, needs volume for it to be so much maxi to mya. So ASST. All right. ASST barcoding needs volume to become so much maxi to mya. And let's get a share party going. Let's get to 300. 300, ladies and gentlemen. 300. 300. All right. Let's see here. So we got that going on in terms of in terms of the stonks, we got that going on right there. Let's take a look at VSIG, VCIG right here. VSIG currently has a bit of a pennant forming. Fell below the VWAP though, so it's got that going on a little bit. VSIG has to break above that VWAP, but also has to break this pennant for it to be so much maxi to Mya. It's only up 27% right now, up 27%. So VCIG needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA for it to be so much maxi to Mya. That's what we got going on right there. That is what we got going on. Yes. So right now, as of now, VSIG needs to break that VWAP, needs to break above that area. Currently, it is $1.66. Needs to break the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to Mya. Needs to break the pennant as well. And other than that, really, that's what it has to do so far. So, you know, that's what we got going on right there. FMFC. Let's take a look at FMFC. FMFC currently fell below the VWAP right over here. Right, so had a bit of a descending wedge over here. Had a bit of a descending wedge. So it needs to break above that descending wedge. It needs to break above that VWAP for it to be so much maxi to Mya. So, as of now, FMFC needs to break the VWAPA and the pennant, and the downtrend, excuse me, the downtrend for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. But other than that, FMFC, not looking too good, not looking too schmexy right now. Somebody requested ONDS. Let's take a look at ONDS. All right, let's take a look over here. ONDS currently has some barcoding here and more over here. All right, so right now it's got barcoding. It did move up a little bit off that barcoding, broke past the channel a little bit because it did form a bit of a channel. So it has a little bit of an uptrend going on over here, but it's moving up on some low volume. They do have a conference call scheduled for tomorrow and Q3 earnings confirmed for tomorrow on Thursday, November 13th before the market opens. So you got that going on right there for the stunk. But as of now, it's got very low volume, very choppy. ONDS needs volume. ONDS choppy needs volume. All right, very low volume, not schmexy to Mya as of now. Up 1% right now, not looking too schmexy. All right, let's take a look at FTCI. FTCI, let's see how FTCI is doing. FTCI currently below the VWAP. Moving around on some low volume, has a reasonable float of 9 million, but the volume is 2 million. So right now you got that going on right there. Has a bit of a pennant forming right over Mya, has to break above the VWAP, and also has to break above that little pennant right there for it to be somewhat schmexy to Mya. FTCI needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to Mya. All right, now let's see what else it's got going on. FTC Solar shares are trading higher after the company reported Q3 earnings above estimates and issued Q4 sales guidance above expectations. They have a conference call currently in progress, and Q3 earnings were released today before market open. So we got that going on as well. So if the stock does move up, I hope it does. You know, that'd be cool. That would be awesome. Let's take a look at SI. All right, let's take a look over here. SI, not a lot of volume, not very schmexy, not looking too good at all. We're going to move on from that. But before we do that, we're going to say this. SI needs volume. Very choppy. All right. Somebody requested LYFT. Let's take a look at LYFT. Let's see how LYFT is doing. Somebody requested it. So let's see. LYFT up 2%. Very, very choppy. Not looking too good right now. Not bullish at all. All right. This stock is also a little bit pricey. It is $24.74 as of now, so it's a little pricey for a stock, so not too schmexy to Mya. All right, LYFT, very bar coded and low volume, not schmexy. Needs volume. because it low-key ain't doing too good. That's LYFT. And LYFT, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's Lyft. That's the car driving around. It's the competitor to Uber. It's the competitor to Uber, basically. All right. So let's see what else we got over here. Let's see how we're doing. VSIG. Let's take a look back at VSIG real quick. VSIG. VSIG. All right. Currently still needs to break that pennant. VSIG still needs to break that pennant right there. Still needs to break the pennant for it to be so much maxi to mya. Yesh. There we go. There we go. Somebody requested AMZE. AMZE. Let's take a look at AMZE here. All right. So AMZE broke above the pennant. I like that. Broke above the pennant. That means that this is no longer needed. All right. Instead, it's an A to B, B to C, C to D, all the way over here, and then another tinier one right over here. So you got ABCDs all over the place with AMZE. AMZE, let's take a look. AMZE on its ABCD patterns moving up. All right. So that's what we got for AMZE. Let's take a look at the news for AMZE because we called the stock earlier in the day. AMZE has news that came out. Amaze completes acquisition of the food channel with plans to revamp the platform experience for culinary creators. And its acquisition of the food channel was for a purchase price of $650,000, payable in convertible promissory notes. So they got that going on right there. That is what they got going on. AMZE currently doing its thing right there. We'll see what goes on here. Let's see what goes on with CMCT. How's CMCT doing? CMCT still below the VWAP. Still needs to break that pennant right there. CMCT still needs to break the pennant. All right. Let's take a look at another strong. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Share party, share party, share party. All right. AMZE up 69%. Still on that ABCD pattern. AMZE. Fly, baby, fly. Come on now. Yes, sir. All right. Then, of course, let's take a look at SLRX. SLRX. All right. SLRX had a bit of a pennant going on over here. Let me get this. Bop right there. Boom. Boom. All right. So, SLRX, as of now, Q3 earnings are unconfirmed for 13 days from now on Tuesday, November 25th, after the market closes. So we'll see what happens there. SLRX, though, let's take a look at SLRX. SLRX is right here. Needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA, but I will give it this. It does have, it is up 46%, but needs to break that VWAP and needs to break that pennant right there. All right. 2023 gainer says DVLT, DataVault AI, BCAI, AMD, and others rising in tech. Hit the like. Yes, sir. All right. So let's take a look at DVLT first. 1 second. DVLT. All right, so DVLT right here was a bit choppy, at certain points, was a bit choppy over here as well. A lot of indecisive wicks going on here. Moved up a little bit, broke through the VWAP, which is very good. I like that it broke through the VWAP, but again, it's still relatively choppy around these points. Also has a bit of a double top forming right over Mya. All right, so it's got that going on. It needs to break through this little $1.57 mark over here for it to be so much maxi to Mya. But let me get the graffiti pencil activated, right? Because it did have a bit of a move up here and broke through here. So it had to break this pennant, broke above the pennant right here, right there, but now is currently hitting a double top right now, which is not a good sign. Has to hold that VWAP, has to break through the double top right there. So right now, DVLT has to hold the VWAPA and break the double topper. You know what I mean? For it to be somewhat schmexy to me. All right, so that's what we got going on with that. BZAI, let's take a look at BZAI. It was requested as well. BZAI, not very schmexy, looking very choppy as of now. BZAI, very low volume, needs volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. BZAI needs volume to stay above the VWAPA. Right now, it's got a lot of indecisive wicks over here, as you can see. A lot of indecisive wicks. Has a conference call scheduled for tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Q3 earnings confirmed for tomorrow at Thursday, November 13th, after the market close. Ladies and gentlemen, give me 1 second, though. Okay, let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1,000. 1,000. Be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section, so be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. And you also get access to this amazing stock list. Oh, right here, you get access to the amazing stock ticker tape. You get access to our wonderful scanners, one of which is right over here on the left side of the screen, 24/7. All right. You get access to the newsroom, which is a wonderful trading and also research tool. You also get access to the wonderful and amazing indelible community. These people are amazing. They're very supportive. They're very wonderful people. So yes, be sure to check them out. Be sure to get all that there. Be sure to check out that 4-day trial. Get the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99 for the first 4 days. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out, because we pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to get some water, and I will be right back. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1,000. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I am back. I am back. Ever seen that? Ever seen that part of the movie The Hangover where he goes, "We are back. We are back. We are getting dog back." Yes. If you know that movie, that is a legendary movie. That movie was amazing. God bless. All right, give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. But yes, I love that movie. That movie was amazing. Gotta admit, um, Mr. Chow, that was my favorite character in that whole movie. He was just too much. He was hilarious. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right. We also requested AMD, so let's take a look at AMD. All right, let's take a look at AMD. Currently on the uptrend right now. All right, 9 EMA converged a bit with the VWAP over here, and then basically just curled its way on up so far. So it's trending up nice and smooth right now. AMD up 6%, but it is trending up nice and smooth. So I will give it that. It's got that going on right there. Boom. AMD. AMD on the uptrend right now. On the uptrend. So we got that going on right there. Thank you for that follow, 654. All right. AMD on the uptrend, moving up nicely. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. So, yeah, we're chilling right now. We chilling. All right. So, what other stonks we got going on here? FMFC. All right. FMFC needs to break below the needs to break above this downtrend. Actually, needs to break above the downtrend. I'm gonna follow you. Yeah, man. Thank you. 654. All right. So as of now, FMFC is currently up 39%, but it's still got to break that downtrend. It's not looking too good right now. So FMFC still has to break the downtrend for it to be somewhat interesting to meow, somewhat schmexy to meow. Otherwise, it's just not looking too good. FMFC needs to break the downtrend. All right. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. AMZE. All right. AMZE. Bullish. Bullish right now. There we go. AMZE currently bullish. Moving up on that ABCD pattern right there. So AMZE bullish. Moving up on the ABCD pattern right there. Boom. Good. All right, got that going on. There we go. Now let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1300. Let's get to 1300, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. All right, let's get to 1300. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So, what other stonks do we have to look at today? Somebody requested another stonk. Hold on. Somebody requested LUMN. All right. AMZE currently up 75%, by the way. I'm keeping a good close eye on this one. All right. AMZ. All right. Someone requested LUMN. Let's take a look at LUMN. LUMN, very choppy. Not looking good at all. Above the VWAP, but again, a lot of indecisive wicks. Over here. Not looking good. Not looking schmexy at all. So you got that going on right there. LUMN, not looking schmexy. Does not have a lot going on in terms of volume. So LUMN, very choppy and low volume. Needs volume to hold VWAPA. Not schmexy, ladies and gentlemen. Not schmexy to meow. Not schmexy, at least to meow. So, man. I mean, I hope you make money with it, but not looking too good. Not looking too good. All right. Let's see what else we got. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What else we got? Let's take a look back at AMZE. AMZE currently still on that uptrend. Needs to remain friends with that trend right now. AMZE. AMZE needs to remain friends with the trend. And let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 1400. 1400, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to 1400. Let's get it. Yes. All right. Let's see what other stunks we got going on here. Somebody requested HBIO. HBIO. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Wow. Nope. Trash. Okay. So, HBIO, kind of trash, not going to lie. All right. I mean, earlier in the day, it had a little bit of an A, B, C, D pattern right here, but man, it fell off. No volume, a lot of indecisive wicks. You see all these indecisive wicks here, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, a lot of indecisive wicks, a lot of spottiness, not looking too good, not schmexy at all. Little to no volume, not looking good at all. Very indecisive on the RSI as well. It's above the VWAP, but really not looking good. HBIO, as of now, HBIO needs a lot of volume. Not very choppy, Very choppy. No, 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 no. Would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. CMCT. CMCT. All right, let's take a look at CMCT. Still trying to break that VWAP right there. It is trying to climb a little bit. Slowly climbing up a little. Needs to test that VWAP, though. CMCT needs to test that VWAP and break it. That's what it needs to do right there. So CMCT needs to test the VWAP, needs to break the VWAP. Let's see how AMZE is doing. AMZE currently on the uptrend right now. Currently a little bit, hold on, right there. And he broke below the trend line. So right now it's starting to form a little bit of a descending wedge right over MIA. So AMZE needs to break the descending wedge, for it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. AMZE needs to break the descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. All right, so AMZE needs to break that descending wedge. Let's take a look at BYND. BYND, ooh, very, very choppy as of now. BYND, very big fan favorite. But I'm going to show you something real quick. Take a look. Right here. All right, take a look right here. So, got that going on. Channel time over here. Fell down below that. Ended up creating a big old channel time right over MIA and over MIA. So, needs to break that channel, but also needs a lot of volume. BYND, lots of barcoding right now. BYND needs volume to break the barcoding and channels. All right, so BYND needs a lot of volume to break the barcoding and the channels. It is above the VWAP right now, but, you know, right now it's not looking too schmexy to MIA. All right, somebody requested LZMH. We're going to take a look at that. Let's take a look at SLRX first. SLRX, and then after that, we'll take a look. SLRX currently needs to break above the pennant right there. It needs to break above that pennant. SLRX needs to break above the pennant. But right now, not looking too schmexy. Is up 42%. Needs to break above that pennant for it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. But otherwise, Let's take a look at LPTX. And then after that, we'll take a look at LZMH, because that one was requested of me. All right. LPTX has a bit of a choppy uptrend going on so far. It is above the VWAP right now. So we'll give it that. Is currently above the VWAP. So we got that going on right there. LPTX is currently on a nice little choppy uptrend. All right. LPTX does have low volume, though, because the volume is 51 million. The float is 51 million. Volume is only 6 million. So LPTX moving up on low volume right now. Needs to remain friends with the trend. All right. For it to be somewhat schmexy to MIA. Let's take a look at LZMH. LZMH. Somebody requested LZMH. All right. Trash. Okay, got it. So, this one is kind of booty. Not going to lie. Pretty booty. Very bad. Not looking good at all. Lot of just indecisive wicks all over the place. Not looking too good at all. Gapped up all the way up here, then just proceeded to go back down. Formed a big old just choppiness, just big old indecisive wicks all over the place. Gapped up again, broke above the VWAP, and then just choppiness. Very sporadic, not schmexy. LZMH, not looking too good. LZMH, very sporadic, indecisive wicks, low volume, not schmexy. All right. So, let's see what else we got. Top Success, how you doing, man? How are you, Top Success? MSPR, all right, let's get a look at MSPR. Let's take a look at MSPR. All right, so MSPR did have a nice bit of movement yesterday. So let's take a look over here. All right, boom, MSPR. MSPR actually ran up quite a bit yesterday, ran up approximately 135% yesterday. As of now, though, it did move downward since then. So it has moved downward. It fell below the VWAP as of now. So MSPR is no longer really valuable in my opinion, but that's just my opinion over here. Right now, MSPR needs to really break this pennant right here. All right, so as of now, MSPR, while it did have a nice run yesterday, what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? What have you done for me lately? So right now, it's trying to break above that pennant right now, trying to break above that pennant, but MSPR currently is down 19%. So it needs to break above the pennant, needs to break above the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. But right now, that's what we got going on with MSPR. Again, had a nice run yesterday at 135%. So there we go. MSPR needs to break the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Otherwise, it's, meh. Right now, again, ran up nicely, 135% yesterday. We even called it yesterday. We called it for yesterday, and it ran up nicely, 135%. But as of now, you know what? It's not a continuation right now. It just needs to break above that pennant, needs to break above that VWAP in order for it to be so much schmexy to mya. Otherwise, meh. A lot of Q3 earnings, which are unconfirmed for in 13 days from now on Tuesday, November 25th, after the market close. So we'll see what happens there. We shall see what happens. Top Success is doing awesome. Thank you all. Much love, Top Success. Much love, brother. Take care. Do your thing, man. Be safe and be careful in the stock market, man. It's one of those things. You know what? I'm keeping an eye on the stock market right now. You know what I mean? So, be safe in there, man. Be safe and do your thing. And if you got any more stocks you want us to look at, put it in the chat, man. Put it in the chat. All right? And we will take a look, Top Success. We will take a look, brother. But yes, hope you're doing well. Hope you are making money. Hope you're making money, man. All right, CCCF over here says AMZE. Let's take a look. AMZE. Let's take a look back at AMZE. All right, still needs to break above that descending wedge right there. So AMZE still needs to break above that descending wedge. AMZE needs to break above the descending. It's like a tiny descending wedge that it formed. For it to be somewhat schmexy to mya, needs to break above the tiny descending wedge over mya. So, needs to break above that. But right now, currently, let's get a support and resistance line for this stonk right here. Let's get support and resistance lines for it. Let's get some support and resistance lines. Bot right here. Boom. And boom right there. So, AMZE currently up 69%. Has to hold above the 87-cent line. Needs to break through 98 cents for it to be so much maxi to mya. The 9 EMA has started to run away from the VWAP, so that is a bit, not alarming. It's just not a schmexy thing. You know what I mean? It's not schmexy. All right. It is also a little bit overbought in the RSI. So now, little bit overbought in the RSI. AMZE is up 69%, or now 67%, but we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Has to break above that descending wedge. Can it continue to curl up? We'll have to see, ladies and gentlemen. Needs that volume, though, for it to be somewhat schmexy to mya. Yesh. So that's what it really needs right now. Somebody requested GNS. Let's take a look at GNS. Let's see how GNS is doing. Not schmexy. Not schmexy. Trash. Okay. So a lot of indecisive wicks going on over here. Very, very indecisive. Not looking too good right now. Right. Very choppy. Very gappy. Not looking good here. A lot of indecisive wicks. Very low signs of volume here. Right, it's above the VWAP, I'll give it that, but it's only up 1%, and it is very, very choppy. So, as of now, GNS trash. I mean, trash right there. GNS needs volume. Very, very choppy. Not looking too schmexy right now. Not looking too schmexy. Let me get some water in me real quick. Let me get some water in me. And let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 2200, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for the real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Mm-hmm. So as of now, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check that out and get access to our amazing, beautiful market mover scanner over here, which gives you the change in percentage, the time in which the stock was scanned, whether the stock is moving up or down, the ticker, the price, the volume, the float, all that, as well as some very interesting hyperlinks to research on the stock, whatever you need, whether it be the chart, whether it be the news, whether it be the ticker price or volume or float or any of that stuff. It's got the hyperlinks right over here. You click on them, boom, you get sent to where you get sent to. You get sent to the wonderful area that basically just helps you research the stock. You get access to the newsroom, which also has hyperlinks that help you basically check out whatever stonks are coming your way in terms of news and other stuff like that. And also, it shows the tickers that are affected by the news within said article and gives you hyperlinks to the ticker and the news. So you can basically read the full article and also research the stonk that is being mentioned in the news. And to top it off, you get access to the amazing Indelible community. Wonderful people, very supportive. We love to help each other grow. We love to help each other become better, make more money. You know what I mean? More money, more money, more money. That's what we like to do, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we like to do right there. So, yeah, that's what we got going on so far with the stonk for GNS. Not looking too schmexy right here. But yes, ladies and gents, be sure to check out the real-time alerts and scanners. And if you want to check out the Wealth Builders, the link to join is in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out as well, because the Wealth Builders basically get the same thing that the real-time alerts and scanners people get, plus they get exclusive access to exclusive content from Coach Nick and myself. They get exclusive educational content from us. You get exclusive access to Coach Nick Money and myself as well. You basically join the inner circle, if you will, the inner circle. Yes, it's like the Justice League's the Hall of Justice, only better and more money. But you basically get access to that. You get access to the educational content. You get access to behind-the-scenes content, scripts, and all sorts of other cool stuff as well. You get access to all that, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to check out the Wealth Builders and join, ladies and gentlemen. Join. Join us. Ah! But yeah, that's what we got going on. Somebody requested ONON. ONON. Let's see how ONON is doing. All right, ONON is on a little bit of an uptrend. A little bit choppy over here. A little bit consolidated at the VWAP, but right now it is moving up a little bit. So it also has some news as well. ONON up 22%. ONON is showing that it's also pretty expensive too, not going to lie. It's at $43 and change. So very, very expensive for the stonk. Very, very expensive per share. Not looking too schmexy in terms of that. So the price is not looking too good. But it is on a bit of an uptrend, so I will give it that right there. Let's take a look at the news here. It says on holding shares are trading higher after the company reported Q3 earnings and revenue above estimates and issued FY 2025 sales guidance above expectations. A conference call has recently concluded, and Q3 earnings were released today before market open. So it's got that going on right there. It currently is on an uptrend right now, but again, very expensive stock. So we'll see what goes on with this. But as far as I'm concerned, me personally, I wouldn't be interested in this. ONON, pricey stock on a slight uptrend off the VWAP. So it's got that going on right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's got going on. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get to 2400. Let's get to 2400, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Let's take a look at LPTX. Somebody requested LPTX. Let's see how LPTX is doing. LPTX currently still on a slight uptrend here. Needs to remain friends with the trend. Right now, it looks like it's starting to consolidate a little bit. So LPTX needs to remain friends with the trend for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So, what other stonks do we have going on here? Let's continue on. Let's take a look at CMCT again. CMCT. CMCT. Come on now. Let's refresh. Refresh. Yes, sir. All right. Okay. So, as of now, CMCT is curling, broke the VWAP, and broke the pennant right now. CMCT curling right now. CMCT curling above the VWAP and the pennant for it to be so much schmexy to meow. So we got that going on right there. That's what we got going on. All right. So as of now, CMCT needs to remain friends with that trend. Needs to remain friends with that trend for it to be so much maxi to meow. Let's take a look at FMFC. FMFC still needs to break the downtrend. FMFC still needs to break that downtrend. All right. So FMFC still needs to do that right now. Not looking too schmexy right there. FMFC. Let's take a look at another stonk here. Let's see what we got going on. Somebody requested BBAI. BBAI currently very, very indecisive wicks over here. Very choppy. Very choppy. A lot of like consolidation along the VWAP, but it did start to move up a little bit, teeny tiny bit over here. You know, me personally, I'm not a fan of this stonk. It's only up 5%. I mean, it's not too schmexy right now. Not looking schmexy at all. Trying to climb its way on up. Curled up a little bit, teeny tiny bit on the RSI. It is a bit overbought over here. Was a bit overbought over here. Now it's kind of just indifferent a little bit, leaning towards being overbought. But right now, it's trying to curl its way on up. But right now, it looks like actually no, it's falling. It's starting to fall back down a little bit. So BBAI currently fell below the VWAP, not looking schmexy at all. BBAI fell below the VWAP, needs to curl. BBAI needs volume to curl. Fell below the VWAP, not looking schmexy. All right. Somebody, Abdullah Muhammad requests SLRX. Let's take a look. SLRX. Let's take a look over here. As of now with SLRX, still needs to really break through that pennant right now. Still needs to break through this pennant and also needs to break above this VWAP. SLRX not looking too good right now. Needs to break above the pennant. So SLRX has got that going on. Needs to break above the pennant and the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to meow. Needs volume. Needs volume, SLRX. Renan asks for AMZE. Let's take a look back at AMZE, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how it's doing right now. AMZE is currently moving back down. It was a little bit overbought on the RSI, so it makes sense that it's going to try to pull back a little bit. Whether or not it can curl, though, that's what we got to find out. So AMZE, can it curl? We shall see. We shall see. So AMZE needs to break the resistance. Can it curl? Let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what happens. Right now, with the stock currently, it was a bit overbought on the RSI. Started moving back down a little bit. So now it's kind of just pulling back a bit. Now it's starting to climb back up a little. really, it needs a bit more volume. Needs a bit more volume to break that descending wedge. Otherwise, it's just meh, you know what I mean? Meh. But AMZE did have a nice run, up 69%. So we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. CMCT, how's CMCT doing right now? CMCT seems to have broken up more, hit the 102 mark, and pretty much went back down. So as of now, it's got a hold above the $9.65 support line. Needs to break through $11.18 resistance line right over here for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. Otherwise, it's just meh. You know what I mean? Meh. So we'll see what happens there. CMCT. All right. CMCT needs to remain friends with the trend high test. All right, because it did have a bit of a high test. CMCT ran as high as 110%. So it tried to test it. It was at 102. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the stunk. The bell is about 20 minutes away. So we are 20 minutes out from the bell. The bell. All right, so yeah. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that. All right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Let me add them over here. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. FTCI. Let's see how FTCI is doing. FTCI. All right. FTCI needs to break the pennant and needs to break the VWAPA. So FTCI needs to break the pennant and the VWAPA. All right, for it to be somewhat schmexy to meh. All right, and ladies and gentlemen, yes. So hold on 1 second. 1 second right there. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different. And the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. But as of now, it's one of those things where, we are currently, chilling right now, chilling here, taking a look at FTCI, keeping an eye on CMCT because it is trying to test it. It is trying to test it a little bit. But as of now, we got some stonks that are just chilling here. We already called 3 stonks that are already baggers, man. We already called 3 baggers. Can't nobody do it like us, man. I'm just saying. Can't nobody do it like us. We don't do 5% runners. We don't do none of that stuff. We actually call stocks that make money. We call stocks that make money. We're not big on 5% runners. Not a big fan of them. Not a big fan. Yeah, you need some breathing room, man. Need some breathing room. And also need a stock that's going to make money and not be choppy and garbage. But that's beside the point. Anyways, let's take a look at another stonk over here that has been requested of us. Let's take a look at another stonk right here. GNS. Somebody requested it. GNS. Last I checked, this one was still choppy. Still not looking schmexy. Not looking good at all. Even got a barcode going on. Hell, I'll give it a channel. I'll give it a channel for you. Channel time. It's channel time. All right, right here and right there. A little bit of a channel right there. And then not very good on volume, though. GNS, not good on volume. Needs volume. GNS, not good on the volume. Very choppy. Yeesh. So we got that going on right there. Not looking schmexy. Not looking schmexy right there. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, not looking too schmexy there. Let's take a look at LPTX. LPTX up 30%. Currently was on a bit of an uptrend, still sort of on an uptrend, kind of, sort of. Right now, though, it fell below the VWAP, so not looking too schmexy as of now. Needs to break back above the VWAP. I think it's a little bit of a pullback because it was a bit overbought in the RSI. So LPTX is trying to do that right now a little bit, right? LPTX needs to break that volume again. Needs to break that VWAP. Needs to break the VWAP. Bless you. Yeesh. So we got that going on right there. Ahmed says SLRX lost its heat. Let's take a look at SLRX. SLRX. Yeah, SLRX had some nice heat earlier in the day. We called it earlier in the day for our private Discord prior to its 189% run. But right now, SLRX fell below the VWAP, is actually leaning towards being oversold at this point. So potentially maybe could curl, but needs a lot of volume for that. SLRX needs volume. SLRX needs volume. It's becoming oversold. So, I mean, when it becomes oversold, it's possible that it could potentially curl back up. Maybe. We'll see. So, that's what we got going on so far. That is what we got going on. Let's see what other stonks we got going on here. Let's see what other stonks we got. What other stonks we got over here? All right, let's see here. So, as far as other stonks that we got going on, let's take a look at AMZE. AMZE. Actually, you know what? I want to take a look at Open. Let's see how our old friend Open is doing. Open had a bit of a cup going here. All right. And a little bit of a handle, and then just basically shot up over here. And now trying to form a descending wedge right here. So Open needs to break that descending wedge. It is down 0.47%. So Open needs to break the descending wedge for it to be so much maxi to mia. Needs to break that descending wedge. Not looking too good right there. Not looking too good in terms of volume, but Open is a fan favorite, so hopefully it can break above the pennant right there, the little descending wedge. So yes, I mean, it did move up off that cup and handle, though. I will give it credit. It moved up off the cup and handle, so we got that going on right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's take a look at VSIG. VSIG. Let's take a look over here. VSIG currently, pennant is showing right or yeah. Pennant is showing up still. Needs to break above this VWAP. Needs to break above this pennant. VSIG still needs to do all that right there. For it to be so much maxi to mia, VSIG needs to break through the pennant. For it to be so much maxi to mia, VSIG needs to break above that pennant right there. Needs to break above that pennant. Let's get a share party going on. Let's get the 3100. Let's get the 3100, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. Come on now. All right. But yeah, VSIG needs to break above that pennant right there. For it to be so much maxi to mia. Yes, to mia. All right, somebody requested Lucy. Lucy, I'm home. If you know where that's from, you know where that's from. That's from I Love Lucy. I was trying to do my best Ricky impression. But do you know where this next line is from? Hello? Ooh, hello? What are you? You look like Lucy's stunt double. I'm actually a combination of Lucy and Ricky. That sounds terrifying. If you know where that line is from, put it in the chat. I'll put the answer up as soon as I'll give you guys the answer as soon as I'm done with this stonk right here on Lucy. Lucy. All right, let's see. So Lucy currently is up a nice A to B, B to C, C to D pattern right here. All right, but is up 19% right now, dropped like a rock below the VWAP. So right now, not looking too good in terms of volume. A lot of consolidation below the VWAP as well. A lot of consolidation below that VWAP. So Lucy needs some volume. Lucy needs volume for her to be somewhat schmexy to me. LUCY needs volume to break the consolidation below the VWAP. All right. Needs volume to do that. Needs volume to do that, ladies and gentlemen. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. Lucy. All right. So that line that I told you about was actually from a very funny movie that starred Robin Williams called The Birdcage. It took place actually in South Beach, Florida. Very, very, very good movie, by the way. Funny as heck. Funny as heck, I will say. Funny movie. Very funny. All right. And yeah, Robin Williams did amazing in that movie. God rest his soul. Amazing actor and amazing comedian. All right. So, one of the best. One of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest to ever do it. Just saying. All right. So, yeah. Robin Williams, The Birdcage. Just amazing, amazing movie. Funny as heck. Funny as heck. All right. Now, let's see here. All right. We got CMCT. CMCT. All right. Currently, CMCT is curling its way on up right now. Curled its way on up, formed a bit of a pennant right over Mya. So it has a bit of a pennant formed right over Mya. Right? All right, so CMCT formed a small pennant. Needs volume. Needs some volume, ladies and gentlemen. And we are just 9 minutes out from the bell. The bell! All right, we are almost 9 minutes out from that, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost 9 minutes out. So we'll see what goes on here. We shall see what goes on. Right now, currently, ish. Got it. We shall see what goes on with the bell. The bell! It deafens me. But right now, CMCT is currently up 93%. It has been kind of flirting with the high on occasion. Has been flirting with that high a day. A little bit. Again, CMCT had a nice high of 110%. 110%. So we'll see what happens there. It needs to break above. Yeesh. All right. So got that going on right there. That's what we got going on, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see here. Let's see what we got going on. What do we got going on so far? Let's see here. All right. Somebody requested GNS yet again. GNS. Let's see. Last I checked, it was trash, but let me check. Yep, still trash. Fell below. Yep, fell very far below the VWAPA. Fell very far below the VWAPA. Not looking schmexy. GNS now needs to break above the VWAP and also needs some volume to top it off. GNS trash. Trash, ladies and gentlemen. Trash. All right. GNS fell below the VWAP. Still indecisive and choppy with low volume. Not schmexy. Not schmexy at all. All right. So let's get a share party going on. Let's get the 3,400. 3,400. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time alerts and scanners for only $9.99. Link to join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, Ahmed says not schmexy. Yeah, not schmexy at all, man. Not schmexy at all, Ahmed. Not schmexy. GNS needs some serious volume for it to be somewhat schmexy to me, but right now, not looking good. Not looking good, brother. Not looking good at this time. Hopefully it becomes better, but again, it needs a lot of volume. Like it's kind of just working on a thought and a prayer at this point. So we'll see what happens with it. We shall see what happens with it, Ahmed. But, you know, it'd be like that. Don't worry. It is what it is, ladies and gents. It is what it is. Don't worry. I'll find something that makes money. Yes, we shall find some stonks that actually make money around here. Let's see. CMCT. CMCT currently still is actually testing that VWAPA right now. Pulling back a little bit. Again, was a bit overbought earlier in the day. So as of now, it's just kind of trying to pull back. It's bouncing off the VWAP a little bit. Needs to bounce off that VWAP and break that $9.62 line. Right now, CMCT is going to need some more volume. Hopefully, we get that with the 9:30 bell. The bell. All right, so let's see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. CMCT bounced off the VWAP. CMCT bounced off the VWAP. Needs to break the resistance points for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. All right. Let's take a look at FTCI in the meantime. FTCI still has a 9 million float. Volume is 2 million. So it did move up on some low volume and then proceeded to consolidate below the VWAP just a little bit. So right now, FTCI needs to break the consolidation below the VWAP for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Hello. Hola. DBL Moms, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome back. Yes. DBL Moms want to go get some breakfast. You know what I mean? Yes. So FTCI needs to break the VWAPA. And by the way, DBL Moms, since you're back, can you hit them with a hey? There we go. Yes. There we go. That's what I like. Yes, sir. All right. FTCI currently needs to break above the VWAPA and needs volume. Right now. Needs volume to really kind of keep up there. So we got that going on right there. Yes, sir. All right. So what other stonks we got going on over here? Let's see. FTCI now up 22%. Can it break through the VWAP? We shall see. Let's take a look at VSIG, VCIG. VCIG currently trying to climb a little bit. All right. Needs to really break above that. Actually, let me move this over here. Trying to break that pennant right there. Trying to test the pennant right now. A little bit VSIG testing the pennant. Can it break through? We'll see what happens. VCIG testing the pennant. Can it break through? Let's see what happens with VSIG. Can it break through? Because after it breaks through that pennant, we gotta keep an eye out for that VWAP because it needs to break that VWAP for it to be so much schmexy to me. Matter of fact, I might just put some support and resistance lines over here. A little bit of support and resistance. There we go. Now let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 3,700. 3,700, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the 3,700, ladies and gents. Yes, sir. All right. That's the stuff right there. That's the stuff. That's water. That's good water right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got that going on right there. CMCT currently trying its best to stay up right now. Still on a bit of a pullback right now. We'll see what happens. We got 2 minutes till the bell. We'll see what happens with CMCT. CMCT not looking too schmexy. Hopefully it can curl its way back up. But if it doesn't, it's fine. It'd be like that sometimes. It did already have a nice run up 110%. So we got that going on right there. CMCT needs to break that descending wedge for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. Yes, sir. All right. So, what other stonks we got here? What other stonks we got going on? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, also, by the way, we got we got a couple of bits and pieces of news as well that are going on today. So apparently today is the day that the House is going to be voting on the bill to end the shutdown. Oh, we got the bell, the bell. All right, yesh. So ladies and gentlemen, yes, we got that news going on. So the House will be voting on that bill to end the shutdown today. Should be around 7 p.m. So we'll see what happens. We shall see. We shall see. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So look at that. CMCT already climbing its way back up. Right now, it's got a bit of a top tail. We don't like the top tails. We like the bottom tails, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Right now, CMCT is currently trying. It's trying to curl its way back up there a little bit. CMCT trying to curl. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. Yeesh. CMCT trying to curl. Yeesh. Trying to curl right now. All right. It's fighting. It's fighting its way back up there. It says we're going to fight our way up from the bottom right now. Yeesh. Breaking through the resistance at $9.62. Breaking through resistance a little bit. Up, going back down. All right. It's trying to do its thing right now. We'll see what happens. We'll leave you to it, CMCT. Let's take a look at another stock while we're here. SLRX. Let's see how SLRX is doing. SLRX. We'll see what goes down over there. We shall see what goes down, ladies and gentlemen. All right, but SLRX is currently still in need of a volume break right there. It needs to break the VWAPA, needs to break the pennant, needs to break both of these things for it to continue to be so much maxi to me. But right now, SLRX needs volume. Currently oversold, needs to break above the pennant. All right, so SLRX needs to break above the pennant. Looks like it's trying to break above that pennant right now. So we'll see what goes on with this stock. We shall see what goes on with this stock right here. Let's take a look at FTCI. FTCI. All right. FTCI currently broke the VWAP. Look at that. Currently climbing right now above the VWAP off the pennant. FTCI broke the pennant and it broke the VWAP. So we'll see what happens there. FTCI broke the pennant and the VWAP for it to be so much maxi to mya. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right. So, ladies and gents, let's see what other stunks we got going on here. What other stunks we got going on? LPTX. Let's see how LPTX is doing. LPTX. Let me get some water. Give me just a sec, ladies and gentlemen. Just gonna get some water real quick. Let me get some water. All right. We are back. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Let's take a look at LPTX on the uptrend still. On the uptrend. Leap Therapeutics shares are actually trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 earnings. Q3 earnings were released today before the market opened. So we got that going on right there. Currently on the uptrend right there. LPTX. So we'll keep an eye on the stock right here. LPTX on the uptrend. Looking good. Leaning towards being a bit overbought, but that's okay. It be like that sometimes. Let's take a look at BAIG. BAIG. BAIG currently price spike on low volume. It doesn't say what the float is, but the volume is 191,000. So as of now, BAIG has a price spike on what appears to be low volume. But I'm not exactly mad about it. Just, needs more volume. BAIG, price spike on low volume. So we'll see what goes on there. Boom. Let's see what other stonks we got. What other stonks do we have? Right now, BAIG currently climbing its way up. 9%, 9%. All right, let's take a look at SLRX. SLRX broke the pennant. Still needs to break that VWAPA, but it broke the pennant. All right, so we got that going on right there. SLRX broke the pennant. Needs to break the VWAPA for it to be somewhat schmexy to me. ABEO. Currently on an uptrend right now. Currently on a nice little uptrend. Had some indecisive wicks here. Don't get me wrong. Not a big fan of those indecisive wicks, so it is moving on some low volume. Has a float of 48 million, which is very high. Volume of 826,000. But it is moving up on low volume right now. So ABEO. Moving up on low volume. So we got that going on right there. That is what we got going on. All right. Let me get my water real quick. All right. The Bird Nose asks for NXXT. All right. Let's take a look at NXXT. NXXT. Let's see what we got going on. NXXT up 8%. Has Q3 earnings unconfirmed in 13 days from now on Tuesday, November 25th after market close. So it's got some unconfirmed Q3 earnings that'll be coming out soon. Very, very choppy, though. Very barcodey, very choppy. A lot of indecisive wicks on this one. It does have a price spike over here, though. I'll give it credit where credit's due. It has a price spike over here, but judging by past performance, it is a bit overbought in the RSI. It does have a lot of indecisiveness going on here throughout the stock, a lot of consolidation along the VWAP. So I'll say NXXT did have a price spike. NXXT price spike right here needs volume because it is not on natural volume. It's just, chilling, doing its thing, and that's about it. And bop, it's going to run itself up a little bit. And, it's going to either stay there or it's going to run out of steam. So we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens there. All right. What are the stonks we got going on here? What other stonks do we got going on? All right. Let's see about some other stonks over here. Somebody requested LAES. LAES, very, very choppy over here. Had a bit of a double bottom over here, a little bit, right? And then shot up, bop right there. Bop right there. And then another one, bop right there. So, had a bit of an ABCD. Very, very, very small ABCD, but an ABCD nonetheless. ABCD over here, up 2%. LAES, very choppy. Very choppy. All right. So we got that going on. LAES, very choppy, but had a price spike. So you got that going on right there. Very choppy, but had a price spike. The Bird says Thank you. Of course, brother. Of course. Yeesh. All right. Let's get a share party going on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the share party going on. Share party, share party, share party. Let's get the 4,100. Let's get the 4,100 going on over here. 4,100. Yeesh. Whew. All right. Let's get 4,100 going on. Let's get 4,100, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! We just stretch over here. Ooh, that's the stuff right there. Ooh, that's the other stuff right there. Oh my. Somebody requested SES. Let's take a look at SES. How's SES doing? SES, a little bit of an uptrend going on over here, but it's only up 2% right now. Before, very, very choppy, very, very low volume. SES currently moving up a little bit over here, right? On some choppiness, but moving up on low volume. SES moving up on low volume. All right, and a lot of the times when these stocks move up on low volume, they tend to crash. So we'll see what happens here, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see what happens. All right, yeesh. So yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got. What else we got over here? Let me add them. Let me add them. All right. Let's see what else we got here. CMCT. Let's take a look at CMCT again. CMCT. How's CMCT doing? And not looking too schmexy. CMCT needs volume. CMCT. Man. Already had its run. I guess it shot its load. Fell below the view up. We'll see what happens. Yeesh. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember to check out our 4-day trial for our real-time scanners for only $9.99 for the real-time alerts and scanners package. So be sure to check that out, ladies and gentlemen. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. You know, stuff like that. We are just made different, and the early bird gets the cash, the moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check us out on our YouTube channel at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us there doing live streams. You can find us there doing videos. You can find us doing all sorts of fun stuff. You know, so be sure to check us out there. Give us a like, comment, subscribe. You know, and yeah, give us one of those right there. That'll be cool. And to top it off, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on x.com, aka Twitter, at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us there doing live streams. You can find us there doing stock analysis and photos as well. You can find us on, let's see, you can find us on Twitch at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. You can find us there. You can find me doing her Twitch. There, the Twitch. We're doing the live streaming at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. And of course, you can find us on TikTok, Tiki Taki, aka the Tac Tac right there. You can find us there at DBL Nicks. At DBL NICKS, and the screen name is Coach Nick Money. Yeesh. And you could also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Coaching Money. At Coaching Money. Yeesh. You can find us there as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for us. So thank you guys so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring that bell icon to stay notified when new videos are uploaded. Remember to share, because sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Sharing is caring. And of course, if you want access to our private Discord, link join us in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment section. So be sure to check that out. We pick a lot of baggers a lot of times. We're just made different, and the early bird gets the cash. The moolah, the loot, the cashola, the big bucks, I tell you. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we called wonderful stocks. We called SLRX, ran up a nice 189%, FMFC 75%, and CMCT called that 110%. So yeah. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys. We'll see you at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Power Plays, the show that is hosted by the all-star, the star of that show being Coach Nick Money. He's there. He's chilling. Normally, he's chilling there before Power Hour. You know what I mean? So he basically takes a look at the stock, sees what he thinks might potentially move, what might not. He's basically looking at stuff like that. Getting his opinion, all that good stuff. Taking a look at the stocks. That's what he does before the Power Hour. And then, the play portion of the show, he basically does that to decompress. He plays a lot of Fortnite. He's like, oh, yeah, Fortnite's so relaxing. I'm like, yeah, so relaxing. You go, when you lose. It's like, one of those things. So, yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check that out. Be sure to check out the lovely Power Play show that is going to be coming on exclusive to YouTube as well as X.com as well as Twitch. Be sure to stay tuned for those. Keep your notifications on for when new videos are uploaded. Remember to share, all that good stuff. And yeah, you'll be seeing that real soon in just a couple of hours. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Much love, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in a few hours. And it's Double Nicks. I love you guys. I am here with the lovely Serengeti specialist herself. She likes to hang around the tall weeds, the high trees, the low seas, hitting them high knees. Sometimes she likes 2 cups of coffee. Other times she likes to jet ski. Sometimes she just gets, shot at the cannon and she goes, wee! Other times she likes to go to Arby's and watch videos of puppies and kitties. And other times she likes to go over and, find out about them stocks with the ABCDs. Such as SLRX and CMCT. We call her DB Moms. Yeesh. All right, so that's pretty much it for me. Much love. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you in a few hours for Power Plays.